Good afternoon, everybody. It's Mike with smartoptiontrading.com. It is the 19th of December. It's 12:15 in the afternoon, and we're getting some weakness in the markets today. And it's not unwelcomed weakness, guys. This is actually a type of weakness that could set us up nicely for a nice grind and run next week. So I'm doing this live for everybody can see. So I'm going to make you guys a special offer at the end. But let's talk about today's action and what's going on. So first off, SPY opened mostly flat and it's pulled all right off the go, right? And we're approaching the lows. And now, so this is where I tell you, you need to put a couple ideas, and this is what you need to look at. We have a gap to fill here. The top of this candle, all right there, the top of this candle is 267.04. The close of the candle is 266.51. Those are two numbers we should be looking at here on the SPY for a possible reversal. Why? Because you know they love to fill gaps. Come down, fill a gap, then bring us all the way back up, right? We haven't quite filled this gap yet, so maybe a little bit more. You also have the 8-day here. The 8-day is right on that 265.55 area right here with this candle. There's a lot of sense to come in here and fill this and to do this. So that's why I'm watching it. That's why I've been saying to everybody, tweet it out a couple times, watch the 8-day, watch the 8-day. By the way, big puts coming in on HOG here. Ow. Somebody doesn't like HOG. HOG, Feb 5250 puts. $170,000 of them. Okie. So that's why I keep saying, watch that, right? IWM, which should be strong on tax reform, went up, put a new high in today, right? Look at this, 254.77 over this range and sold off here. But still not even, still okay. Not into this little gap area it has here. Still looks okay. And the Qs were the first sign this morning that there was problems. By the way, you guys can chat with me if you want, interact with me as much as you want here. The Qs this morning were giving us funky signs before the markets opened. They started rolling over before everything. They were weak onto the open, and they're just coming in. Again, filled that gap, right? Not much of a gap there, but almost to the 8-day. No damage done. And that's what I want to stress to you guys here. No damage done here in this market. Nothing wrong. This was a good morning to be, take profits, be okay. You're always going to take a hit when the market does stuff like this. And the VIX, by the way, if this was real and we were really worried, this VIX would be spiking like mad. We're barely over 10. One more thing I like to look at is Priceline. Priceline is large, big money. They're not selling this here. With all this negative moves going on, right? Priceline is actually up on the day. And truthfully, remember I called out last week, you could play this for a gap fill. Still looks like you can play it for a gap fill if you like playing the name. All right. So, hey, Chris, how are you, buddy? Nice to see you. So let's talk about what's going on today. I took some profits on the open. I took my X calls off for a nice gain. I got out of my CBI common for a couple penny gain after it didn't react well. And by the way, X is acting really good here. In fact, I've been looking at it and saying, why didn't I buy back in yet? And maybe I should, right? X looks good. CBI, why did I get out of it? Because it didn't react well to the merger news. They didn't want a merger. They wanted them just to sell some of their business. So it's down. So I got out. I got out with I had 1,000 shares. I sold the first shares up nicely. I held the other for the news. And I got out with a 4-cent gain on the 500 shares I had left. Okay. What are you going to do? Not game over, right? Still looks good here. Not good here. Get out of the way. What else did I do today, guys? There's things to do. The call flow, OSTK, gave me a quick entry into OSTK. I got in, took this thing for a ride up from 74.77 to 78.80 and got out. No, I didn't get out the highs, but you know what, guys? It's not about getting out in the lows and out the highs. It's about making money and getting out. I took common for a scalp. I also scalped this little guy, XIN, for a couple bucks, all right, on some option flow. Both of these, they gave me away with the flow today. So a lot of what I do in the markets is I look for technical setups I like, and then we look for option flow to help support it, and that's what we take. That's why we were in Apple and got out yesterday. We were in Twitter, and we finally got out of Twitter here. That's why we got an X yesterday. This X is making me want to get in it so badly here. This looks really nice the way it's setting up here. The yen, thanks, Mark. The yen spiking, okay. So, there's just some things going on here. We're expected to get the tax vote today in the House and then tonight in the Senate. And this could be just a little bit of trying to rattle everybody before that. Or, maybe it could be a sell the news event. I don't know here. what I'm saying to you, this was a good time to clean up. This should not be a time of year where you're long and strong into everything. All right, first dip buyers in the banks coming in. XLF, Feb 29 calls. Swept $160,000 of it. I like the fact that it's a sweeper, right? Let's take a look, right? So somebody's playing out of the money calls on the XLF for a new all-time high in February. Something we'll keep an eye on. I do like to see the banks can get going here again and find some momentum back. I'm very light here at this point. You know, I have a couple positions on. I have some Tesla, very small, into next week 360s. I'm very red on it, but I have a very small position. Just so I don't lose track of it, I tried it yesterday into this pop, and I decided to let it on, and now I'm here, but it's holding the 8-day. As long as it holds the 8-day, I'm good, because I think this thing can reverse on a dime. And they've been sweeping next week's 360s this morning a couple times now. I have some Netflix calls, which, guys, I'm going to be honest with you, they're going to probably expire worthless. I'm in the Jan 205s. And, you know, to explain why they're going to expire worthless, which is not my trading style, on this day, they did not honor my stop. It blew through it. I got caught. I became a deer in the headlight, and I let it go, and I shouldn't have. I should have just taken it off at any point I could have gotten out. Last Friday, on this day, they decided Netflix moved earnings out a week, and the MMs widened and drained all the IV out of the options for the January options, thus crushing them on IV crush. So they're pretty much dead. And somebody's like, why don't, some people have been asking me, why aren't you selling them and taking what you can? What's the point in selling here? I'm down like 85, 86%. There's no reason to sell with a month to go. I'll hold because I can aggressively add. I can do something. I can do something with the position here. You know, I think I had 5 of them. So at this point, I don't have a big amount on there. Most of the positions I sold on my Netflix up into here these days, right? I got out of a lot of my Netflix through here. So, you know, it's going to happen. You're going to get your hits. No, Patel, I have Trade Alert, and I have my own secret formula in it, and that's how I get it, and I post it to everybody on my private Twitter feed all day long. So that's how I get my option alerts. What else? X is right to high the days here, by the way. So I'm not seeing this as a big market sell-off. I'm seeing this right now as some profit taking and everything. The blockchain names remain very, very strong, right? The blockchain, OSTK. Let's give me some more here. Riot, right, ran back up again today, right? The one that's not, and even though the upgrade today can't get going, is Square. And Square, you know, it's one of those names I love to look at because it's an easy one to trade. It's having problems with the moving averages as resistance, and that tells me to stay out of it. All right. Yep. Walmart had an upgrade today, right? Finally went, right? But it's coming back in here. JD is in Fuego today. And I did this today when I was moderating for some people in Alpha. So you can see it broke this downtrend here and is now acting much differently than it did through this whole area here. So I wouldn't chase it here, but nothing yet. BABA, we could talk about BABA. BABA on a daily chart looks, now I will tell you they've been buying weeklies all morning on it, all different strikes and weeklies on BABA. I did not take any because it's not acting well. This gap here at 164.25 would be the 3rd time it hits if it comes to it. You know, right now, BABA, the 8 days resistance, it can't get above it. So it's not on a go-to name list here as it's not acting as strong as other names, right? Apple's holding, even with that downgrade today, right? Apple's holding the 8-day. To me, I'd rather play Apple than BABA right now. Amazon, with an upgrade today too at JP Morgan, still holding the 8-day into today's little thing. I'd rather look to the strong names. And I try to give you guys different ideas based upon what you play. So you guys know every morning I do a morning setups call. It's anywhere from 4 to 10 minutes, depending upon the action, talking about different names I like and what I'm looking at here today. I post flow and news and all my trades all day long on my live private Twitter feed. Comcast, by the way, seeing some buying here. CMCSA, GEM 3950s, 200K. And then every night I do a recap video, recapping the day's action and the flow that looks good and what I like moving forward. I do this all for $100 a month, guys. It's a very cheap and expensive price. If you look in the video feed, you'll find a link to my website with a special offer of $25 for the first month, and it renews automatically at $100. Give me a try. You're not going to be disappointed. You get a lot there for $100 a month. $25 is nothing. I'm not getting cancellations. People are happy. They're making money. We knocked Twitter out of the park a couple times in the last month. You know, we're constantly finding where the flow is going, where the market's going. And I think you'll find I'm pretty good at reading the temperature of the market and when to be strong and when to be light. And I'm pretty good at expressing that out to my user base as well. And you'll see a lot of the stuff I do for free on Twitter that goes along with that as well. So if you like what I have to say, give me a try for a month. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. And from here today, we'll see. I'd like to see the markets tag the 8-day, fill this gap, just fill this gap, and then we can get a reversal for it and go from there. And if we don't hold the 8-day and we get below it, that would be the first sign that maybe we're seeing some decent weakness creeping in. Just remember, we tend to get markups next week, right? A lot of markup next week of the names that they didn't have that they want to buy. So, you know, it's typically a very bullish time of year. So don't let this shake you guys out so easily. That said, don't play big. I've been saying this every day for the last week and a half, 2 weeks. If you haven't had a good year, this is not the time of year to try to make it all back in. Play small, take what the market's giving you, and you'll get your victories and just build your confidence back up if you've had a rough year. Chris, thanks, buddy. I really appreciate all that. So, guys, give me a try. SmartOptionTrading.com. Link is in the description of the YouTube video. Everybody have a wonderful day. Be safe. Don't overtrade. You know, let the vote come through, and see how this market closes. I am going to be out for a couple hours today. I have to have my knee looked at. I've screwed it up. So I'm going to miss from about 1:45 to probably 3:15, but I'll be back for the close. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining me. Everybody be good.